It's been a long time coming, but this was a recommendation from a couple of months ago. We're finally going to compare the two. Today we are comparing the Vomero Plus with the Superblast 2. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dad Bod, and you're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. Now, if it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice some timestamps below. Feel free to jump around to the various parts of this video, but if you do so, I'd sure appreciate if you come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, as I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures are that Nike did send me the Vomero Plus for free for the purpose of review. That being said, not obligated to create any specific content. They don't give me talk tracks, talking points, and no one watches the videos beforehand. All thoughts are entirely my own. And I did pay for the Superblast 2 with my own money. That being said, I have received shoes from ASICS before in the past for the purpose of review. Now, as far as intended use of these shoes, they actually vary a little bit. They're a little bit different, but I do understand why someone asked me to kind of compare these shoes. So the Superblast 2 was ASICS kind of super trainer before a lot of the rebranding or the shifting within their lines that they did this year. Superblast 2 was primarily made to be kind of like a long run companion to the Metaspeed line, right? It's the shoe that you can put a lot of bulk miles in. It's going to be a little bit versatile. You could even do some long run workouts in it. That's kind of what it was designed for at the time. Maybe you could even call it like a super premium daily trainer, right? Now the Vomero Plus though is going to be the plus version of the Nike Vomero line, which is a max cushion daily training line. That being said, the plus naming within the daily training lines, I do believe means that it can do a little bit more, right? It's supposed to be a little bit more versatile. It's supposed to have a little bit more bounce, a little bit more pop, right? And that is what I have experienced with the shoe. As such, we're going to be comparing them and breaking down the differences between the two today, right? From a price standpoint, the Vomero Plus came in at $180, which is like high, but around what most premium daily trainers are going to cost. Meanwhile, the Superblast 2 came in at $200 at retail. I don't know if that's gone down since with hopeful release of the Superblast 3 in early 2026, I believe. I'm not sure. But you know, $200 is about what you would expect nowadays for a super trainer. So it's kind of right around that right price range. From a specs perspective, what we're dealing with here is the Superblast comes in at 8.8 ounces, which is 249 grams, and the Vomero Plus comes in at 9.9 ounces, which is 281 grams. So Superblast is going to be about an ounce lighter, roughly a little bit more than the Plus. From a stack standpoint, Superblast is 46 in the heel, 38 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop, and then the Plus is 43 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. So a little bit lower drop, a little bit more stack overall. So yeah, let's go from there. So fit-wise, what we're looking at, right? Superblast is true to size lengthwise, in my opinion. It has a narrow fitting midfoot, right? Now, I also said in the review of the Vomero Plus that the midfoot is snug. The Superblast 2 is narrower, right, in that midfoot area. I would also say that it has a narrower heel than the Vomero Plus. Vomero Plus is also true to size lengthwise, right? I would say that the toe box, same thing. I would say that the Vomero Plus has a standard toe box, and then the Superblast 2 has a, I'm not going to call it a snug toe box, but it is a little bit narrower than the Vomero Plus. So all in all, you've got kind of a sleeker, narrower fit with the Superblast. Some people have called it full narrow. I don't know if I'd say it's full narrow, but that midfoot definitely has some narrowness to it, right? Moving to the uppers, a little bit different here. So you have a mono mesh, mono engineered mesh, I believe they call it. Mono blended engineered mesh in the Plus, excuse me. Mono blended engineer Plus, so that's, you can have like the synthetic material plus like the regular thread woven throughout. You have a high cushion tongue that is not gusseted, and then a high cushion heel. Meanwhile, in the Superblast 2, you have, they're just calling it an engineered mesh. It's a little bit more daily trainer-esque, I feel like, actually, but it does have some good breathability. You have a thin gusseted tongue, and then you have a light to medium cushion heel, right? For me, the Superblast 2 upper is one of the best uppers that I've used, right? Like, it's not a full race upper. It's not what I'm wanting in the shoe necessarily. It is just a nice structured upper. I believe that they saved a lot of weight in the shoe because of this upper. It has decent breathability, not like the best breathability ever, but it's pretty good breathability. I would say a little bit more breathable throughout than the Vomero Plus. Vomero Plus, I think, would be breathable if it weren't for the really thick tongue. because the mono blended engineered mesh, it's solid, like it's very comfortable, but I do feel like I get better lockdown in the Superblast 2. I've said, I think in the Mega Blast and Superblast comparison, if they just stuck the Superblast 2 upper on the Mega Blast, that probably would have been shoe of the year for me, but the upper does give me some issues. So, but yeah, I really, really like how you get kind of daily training, but with a sleek package in the Superblast 2. And again, a little bit more breathable, still not the most breathable shoe on the market, but you get some really good lockdown overall in this shoe. The only downside would be it might run narrow for some people, right? If you want a little bit more space, I do think that maybe the Vomero Plus is a plushier overall upper, but also a little bit warmer. And sometimes I didn't struggle too bad with lockdown in the shoe, but I just don't love the big chunky tongues usually. Moving to the midsole, you have the FF Turbo Plus in the Superblast 2, which, let me double check, it is a PEBA foam, right? So you have a PEBA top layer and then FF Blast Eco on the bottom, which is a recycled foam that's going to be a little bit firmer. And it's just like the bottom strip of foam, basically. The rest of it is this nice PEBA foam up top. Meanwhile, you have Zoom X in the Vomero Plus, but my understanding is it's actually a like TPEE, like more of a cushioned version of PEBA. I would say that the Superblast 2 is firmer between the two, right? But I think that it's more responsive, and I think that the geometry of the Superblast 2 really does a good job of kind of making that heel to toe transition, and the shoe feels very, very smooth. It is probably a little more unstable compared to the Vomero Plus, mainly because it's a taller and narrower platform in comparison. But I think that just because the foam is a little bit stiffer, you don't really roll in very much, but if you do have overpronation issues already, then the Vomero Plus might be the better option. The Vomero Plus in comparison is a very soft foam to me. It's not squishy, like it doesn't just compress and just kind of turn to mush. It compresses and then it rebounds pretty good, and I feel like you get some pretty good pickup off of the forefoot of the Vomero Plus. I would say that overall, again, it's a bouncier sensation, while this is going to be a firmer but smoother transition overall, right? Superblast 2, I think, is really good for long runs, especially like long tempo runs. I like it for a little bit of everything other than like short, fast intervals. But I don't necessarily know that the Vomero Plus is going to be better at the short, fast intervals. I don't know that there is a workout that I would rather take the Vomero Plus, though, other than just like an easy recovery run. I think the softer foam is going to be a little bit better for those kind of easier efforts. But for me, I prefer a lightweight shoe over a cushioned shoe, right? So I still personally would prefer the Superblast 2, but I know that probably the majority would prefer the Vomero Plus for recovery and easy miles, right? So a large part of this review or this comparison, it's just going to come down to preference. For me, though, the Superblast 2 is one of the more versatile shoes on the market, and I really, really like it. Like, I could run a marathon in it. In fact, it might be my preference for non-plated shoe running the marathon, right up there with the Evo SL. The Vomero Plus, I could run a marathon in it too, but it would be more if I was like if I was pacing somebody and it was significantly slower than my own marathon PR, then I might throw on the Plus and just have a good time. I would be confident that it could carry me through, right? Moving to the outsoles, you've got ASICS grip on the Superblast 2, and high abrasion rubber in a waffle pattern on the Vomero Plus. Neither of the grips blow me away, but they do check the box. I think on wet, I might trust the Superblast 2 a little bit more. On dry, I don't think there's really like any concern on either of them. Honestly, I think they're going to get the job done. From a durability standpoint, I mean, the Superblast 2, I think I have at least 100 miles on them. I'm not actually sure where they're at. And the outsole's holding up really, really well. I only have about 30 on the Vomero Plus, and it looks brand new. So I feel like durability is probably going to be fine for both of them. But if it's a little bit wet or slick outside, I might go Superblast. Now, as far as my pick, I think it's obvious based on how I talked about the midsoles and the ride. I go Superblast 2. It was my shoe of the year in 2024. It would still probably be top 2 in 2025. It's right up. Like, if I had my perfect running rotation, like I'd have my Superblast 2 as my super trainer for like easier long runs too. I'd have the Evo SL as my kind of daily, my lightweight daily. I'd have the Neo Zen as like probably my recovery shoe. Yeah, I like the Vomero Plus. I mean, don't get me wrong, this year as far as max cushion recovery options, it's up there for me. It's probably top 3 this year for me. But this, like the Superblast 2 to me is like, I am one who buys into the hype of the shoe. One of my favorite shoes of all time. It's awesome. So just my personal preference there, but I do go Superblast 2. I really like, I feel like that's underselling what the Vomero Plus is and can do though. I genuinely think that this is an underrated shoe. I just don't feel like I've heard that many people talking about it. So it is a shoe that I think is worth grabbing for a lot of people. So just some final thoughts. You know, I am generally not like a traditional max cushion kind of shoe guy, but if you put like a foam like this in a max cushion shoe that has some bounce, has some liveliness, is going to keep me moving forward, that's what I like. Like that's what I enjoy. And so I have been converted to the Vomero line from the Vomero Plus. Like I'm very much looking forward to the next iteration of this, the Plus 2, I guess. Assuming that does release in 2026. Again, I actually don't know what is and isn't coming for Nike through the rest of the year. So if that's coming in 2026, I'm a fan. I'm excited to see what they do. And then Superblast 3, obviously, we know we've seen mock-ups, we've seen things. I'm hoping to get some time scheduled with ASICS as well at the running event so I can see in person maybe what that's going to look like. But yeah, the Superblast 3, lots of hype, lots of talk about how, you know, it's maybe going softer, it's maybe going a little bit more more recovery-like. So will be interesting to see where ASICS goes with their line as well, as they've had a really, really strong year in 2025. So if you watched this far, I sure appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what other comparisons you'd like to see or what questions you have about these shoes. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so today. Leave a like, leave a comment, turn on notifications so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And if you'd like to support the channel in any way, please consider using any of the affiliate codes in the description below. RadDad20 gets you 20% off any Walloco gear. So those half tights that I love so much, get 20% off of those. It gives me a 15% kickback. And if you need any running fuel, gels, electrolytes, anything like that, please consider using my Fuel Goods link, as it also gives me a kickback and helps me continue to invest in this channel and do more and more shoe reviews for each and every one of you. Lastly, we'll leave you with a question, which is, what kind of shoe do you like to use on your long runs? Do you like something a little bit more lively or something that's going to protect your feet a little bit more? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.